The Soul of Wood, the artistic journey of handcrafting a wooden sculpture. If you love the beauty of handcrafted wood art, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Crafted Woodworks. In the quiet corners of a workshop, where the scent of fresh wood lingers and sunlight dances gently through old windows, a miracle of craftsmanship slowly takes form. The sculpture you see before you, an exquisitely detailed, hand-carved figure, likely of Guanyin, the Bodhisattva of compassion, is not merely an object. It is a manifestation of patience, tradition, and spiritual reverence. Behind this masterpiece lies a long and soulful journey, deeply rooted in the culture of wood carving, a journey that blends art, devotion, and technical mastery. 1. Choosing the right wood, the first dialogue with nature. Every great sculpture begins not with a chisel, but with a conversation with nature. The artisan must select the perfect piece of wood. This choice is not random. It requires an experienced eye and a deep understanding of the material. Hardwoods such as jackfruit wood, teak, or mahogany are favored for their strength and the beauty of their grain. But beyond technical quality, the carver senses something almost mystical, a hidden form sleeping within the log, waiting to be awakened. Before carving begins, the wood is seasoned for months, sometimes years, to ensure stability. It must be dry and mature, able to withstand the passage of time without cracking or warping. In this moment, the artist commits to a relationship of trust and respect with the material. 2. Rough carving. The awakening of form. With the raw block ready, the artist begins the rough shaping. Using chisels, hammers, and traditional knives, the artisan carefully carves away large sections of wood, revealing the basic outline of the figure. This phase, though crude in appearance, is critical. It requires the artist to visualize the final form even before it fully exists. Like a sculptor seeing a spirit within stone. At this stage, the artisan also defines the proportion and posture of the figure. In a sculpture like Guanyin, every gesture and movement holds symbolic meaning. A raised hand may symbolize blessing or fearlessness, a downward palm may convey compassion or protection. 3. Detailing, breathing life into wood. Once the foundation is in place, the artist transitions to finer tools and begins the meticulous process of detailing. The folds of the robe are carved with delicate precision to simulate the softness of flowing fabric. Each curl of hair, each bead of the necklace, and every line on the palm is carefully sculpted by hand. The face, especially, demands intense concentration. The expression must be serene and compassionate, evoking a sense of peace in anyone who gazes upon it. This is the stage where the soul of the sculpture truly emerges. The wood, once lifeless and inert, now seems to breathe, to speak. 4. Sanding, polishing, and finishing. A final blessing. After the carving is complete, the surface is smoothed with sandpaper, first rough, then fine, until the texture is as soft as silk. This phase can take days, as even the smallest flaw must be eliminated. The final touch is the application of natural oils, waxes, or lacquer, which protects the wood and enhances its natural grain. In some cases, artists leave the wood in its purest form to allow its natural beauty to shine. In others, a glossy finish is applied, like in the sculpture in the photo, adding depth and radiance. 5. Meaning beyond aesthetics, a spiritual offering. What sets this art form apart is its sacred dimension. The figure of Guanyin, for instance, is not merely decorative. It represents compassion, mercy, and the infinite capacity for love and healing. For the artisan, this is not simply a job, it is an act of devotion. Each cut of the chisel is a form of meditation, each detail a prayer. In many traditions, before the sculpture is placed on an altar or shrine, a ritual is performed to open the eyes of the figure, a symbolic awakening of its spiritual presence. Conclusion: the legacy of hands and heart. Creating a wooden sculpture like this is not a mechanical process, it is a poetic dialogue between human hands and natural material. It requires not only years of practice, but also sensitivity, vision, and deep cultural knowledge. Each piece is unique, not only because it is handcrafted, but because it carries the heart and soul of its maker. Such a sculpture stands as more than just art, it is a timeless embodiment of faith, history, and the enduring power of human creativity. Thank you.